You're listening to The Sports Moment. February 8th, 2024. Part of the Sports Moments and Memories with Craig Olson podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a sports moment. Sponsored by Pemberton Law and Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Lake Area Docks and Lifts, more than just docks and lifts. Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Welcome to the Sports Moments and Memories podcast, and today we're going to talk about the Nordic Ski team making it to state, have some comments from some of the skiers and Coach Scharnberg as well. But before we do that, yesterday was a letter of intent signing day for high school football players who are heading to college in the fall, and one of those players is Underwood Senior, Kale Rich. Kale is going to be a part of the Bemidji State University program next year, and I had a chance to visit with Kale about his decision on Bemidji State and asked him what the recruiting process was like for him.
Yeah, so first thing that I went to was on a game day invite, and I went to their game and saw what they did before their games, and I really was intrigued and wanted to learn more, and Coach Hine, the guy that recruited me, invited me to come back out for an official visit, and I went on that official visit, and I just kind of fell in love with it. I loved all the local small-town vibes that were there, and it felt like home.
Kale said Bemidji wants him to work on the offensive line, and he'll be tried at all three positions, center, guard, and tackle. And off the field, in the classroom, he says he's going to be a business major at Bemidji State. I asked him about preparation for his freshman season and what is expected of him from the Bemidji State coaches during the off-season.
Yeah, so they usually have summer workouts up in Bemidji, and most of the times they usually have the incoming freshmen come and work out there like once a month. So I may be going up there once a month just to get used to like the teammates and all that. But other than that, they want me to just enjoy my last summer and just, I can work out on my own. I'm planning on lifting every day and doing some footwork stuff. But yeah, just getting ready for this upcoming season.
Now, Kale obviously isn't done with high school yet. He's a wrestler for the Underwood Rockets as well, actually for the Otter Central Bulldogs. And he is one of the favorites in his weight class, and I asked him who the main competition is at sections in his weight class.
The main competition is Will Rustin from West Central. He's a really good wrestler, and he's my toughest competition.
How have you guys done head-to-head in the past?
He's beat me once this year, and that's the only time we've wrestled. And that was my first match of the year, actually.
Well, we'll be eager to see how Kale does in the section wrestling tournament, and I'm sure he's got his sights set high on getting to state and placing high there, and then we'll look forward to following his progress at Bemidji State as a college football player. Cross-country skiing in just a second, but before we do that, I want to talk for a moment about our sponsors, Lake Area Docks and Lifts, of course, and they have 5 different locations across Lakes area to serve you. They are excited, and I know a lot of people are excited about the fact that we're looking at an early spring, and that's really good news. Let's hope that continues and we get the warm-up, and they'll be ready to help you have summer fun on the water. That's Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Lake Area Docks and Lifts, more than just docks and lifts. Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
So yesterday we talked about the Otter Nordic Ski team qualifying for state on the boys' side as the second place team in Section 8 and qualifying Alexis Wellman on the girls' side as she was 7th in the pursuit race, and she will compete as an individual at the state meet this next week at Giants Ridge and Bawabik. And I talked to Alexis about the fact that qualifying for state had to be exciting for her, but with the team finishing 3rd and just missing out, did she have some mixed emotions on the day?
I was excited that I made it myself, but I was really hoping that our team would make it, but I have high hopes for next year for a team to make it to state. Normally in like a year like this, our team didn't know where we'd be going into this season, and it was just really quite a shock, I think, right around conference when we realized that the girls team could go to state. And even though we didn't make it, I'm just really proud of how our team did overall, because everyone tried their best, and no matter what happens, you can't control people, but you can control your own race.
It was a very competitive field, and I asked Alexis about her individual race on Tuesday and how she felt it went.
I had a really good start for my race. I got a really good position for getting out there for my classic race. I went in second person to go out on the track, and I managed to come in 7th, and then I just managed to hold my position in the skate race. So I ended up making it to state. But I would say that getting in a really good start to my races was key to making it to state.
And as for her goals at state?
My goals are to see how I do shaping up to the rest of the people in at state. I really hope to do better in my skate race and see how far I can go for myself and my performance.
Alexis Wellman qualifying 7th in the pursuit race for the state Nordic ski meet next Thursday at Giants Ridge near Biwabik. Now, David Ronnevik is headed to state with his boys team as they finish 2nd in the section tournament. The top 2 teams go. And David is one of the top individuals ranked in the state, and he has competed at a high level, not only in the state of Minnesota, but all around the world. And let's find out about David. And I asked him about the team element here and what pushed them over the top against some stiff competition.
I think it was our sprint team. We were quite worried that our team depth wasn't quite enough to support an extra 2 skiers that we would need for the team sprint. But we had Jaden Miller joined a little late to our team, and he really put us over the top for being able to qualify overall.
After that qualification for state, David, how confident do you think the team is heading into the state meet?
The boys are just feeling a lot more confident now after our section meet. So many things went wrong. I don't know if you've heard so far, but we had several equipment failures throughout our races. 2 of our top athletes broke their poles in our sprint team. Even at the finish, one of our guys broke his ski and had to run across with a ski folding under itself. So even with all the things going wrong, we still managed to make it, and I think that helps build the confidence in everyone.
And I know you have high expectations for yourself. What are the goals for you individually and the team?
I think I'm ranked 7th overall in pre-state rankings, so certainly not the top-ranked guy, but certainly not out of the picture either. Yeah, I'm definitely the strongest I've ever been now. Training's really paid off, and certainly builds confidence to have some early success.
Now, David, we've had some unusual, to say the least, conditions for cross-country skiing this year. How have the conditions affected your preparation and your practice time?
I certainly think it has hampered many of us. I don't think almost anybody has been on snow, so it is almost a level playing field, but it just isn't optimal this year, and I don't think there's anything anyone has been able to do about it. So it's a pretty level playing field.
Tell us what you expect at the state course. It's got to be, I'm sure, a different setup than usual, or are they going to try to have a regular type of a course for a normal year?
No, I don't see any chance that they're going to have the normal state course. I assume it's going to be at the base of the ski mountain where they've made all the snow, and that's where they're going to hold the course.
How does that make you feel about your chances and your preparation, and how does it change your preparation knowing that it's different like that?
I don't think it changes my preparation very much, but I'd had some success on that course earlier this season at the Mesabi East meet, and yeah, I won that meet earlier this year, the largest high school meet in the United States. So I do feel quite confident in my abilities on that course.
David Ronnevik will be excited to see how David performs next week at Giants Ridge. We're going to share some more comments from the Otter Nordic Ski team and their state tournament qualification tomorrow on the podcast. We're going to hear from Tommy Erickson. He and Jaden Miller were the sprint and relay team that were such a key part in getting the Otter Nordic Ski team to state, and they had quite a finish, Tommy did, and we'll hear the recap of that finish to their sprint relay tomorrow, and get comments from Coach Josh Scharnberg as well on the accomplishments of his team and the qualification for state for the first time for a boys team in Otter Nordic Ski history. So we'll do that tomorrow on the podcast. Pemberton Law is one of the sponsors of the podcast. Pemberton Law carries a legacy of trustworthy and reputable legal representation dating back to 1883. And they serve you from 4 different locations around the Lakes Country: Fergus Falls, Wadena, Detroit Lakes, and Alexandria. And you can also visit them online at pemlaw.com. Well, last night the Spartan basketball teams hosted Anoka Ramsey, and they lost. Anoka Ramsey beat the Lady Spartans 57-45. And the Spartan men fell to Anoka Ramsey 85-76. Now, the Lady Spartans are still in a good shape in the standings in the MCAC, as they are 4th right now, and the top 4 teams do make it to the region tournament, and they have only 3 games left against MCAC Southern Division teams. As for the men, that loss to Anoka Ramsey hurt them. They were tied with the Golden Rams going into last night, and they were tied for 5th place. Again, the top 4 make it to the region tournament. So if the playoffs started today, the Spartan men would be out. They were down 26 in the first half last night, but they battled back. Bilind Elamati had a tremendous second half. He made 27 of his 35 points in the second half last night. And that helped key a comeback that saw the Spartans climb to within 2 points at one time at 65-63, but Anoka Ramsey was able to close it out 85-76. Spartans have a doubleheader Saturday at the college as Western Tech from Wisconsin comes in, and that one gets underway with the ladies at 1 and then the men at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. And today marks the start of the Section 6A girls hockey tournament. The Fergus Falls girls are seeded number 1 in the tournament, and they've got a home game against Prairie Center tonight at the community arena. It's only a 4-team section, so this is the semifinals. A win will put them into the championship contest on Tuesday night. So Otter's number 1 seed get to host that semifinal game tonight. And the Wild are back in action. They won 2-1 in Chicago last night. That's their 11th consecutive win over the Blackhawks, and that's the first game in about 10 days for the Wild. They were off because of the extended All-Star break in the NHL. Wild come home to host Pittsburgh tomorrow night, and the Timberwolves are in the second game of their 4-game road trip. They are in Milwaukee tonight. They are 1.5-point underdogs against the Milwaukee Bucks. Timberwolves are tied with Oklahoma City and Denver with a record of 35-16 atop the Western Conference in the NBA. And we thank you for joining us on the podcast. Hope you come back tomorrow. Have a great day.
You've been listening to The Sports Moment with Craig Olson, sponsored by Pemberton Law and Lake Area Docks and Lifts. Produced by Sunroom Lab. Music by Blue Red Roses. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and thanks for listening.